Good evening. And now let's get into the main topic of our discussion, which starts right here with a photo of Hunter Biden. But it's not just any photo. This is one of the hundreds of photos that have been found on the laptop that he accidentally dropped off at a computer repair shop in Delaware and never picked up. And because of that fateful accident, well, besides photos like these, we now have a lot more details about Hunter Biden's business dealings that he engaged in during the tenure of his father's government career, including many dealings that he had with Chinese Communist Party-linked businesses. However, there are many forces in this country that appear to be working collectively to suppress our access to the contents of his laptop. Now, of course, to start with, everyone already knows what Twitter and Facebook did during the 2020 election cycle, how they quite literally suppressed the laptop story and suspended news organizations that dared to report on it. In fact, just 2 days ago, Mr. Elon Musk, who is of course the new owner of Twitter, he weighed in on the discussion and he wrote this, quote, "Suspending the Twitter account of a major news organization for publishing a truthful story was obviously incredibly inappropriate." Now, in my opinion, that statement is rather mild, given the fact that some studies suggest that the suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop story actually altered the results of the 2020 election. Regardless, though, everyone already knows about what Twitter did. But did you know that last week, Wikipedia got into the Hunter Biden censorship game as well? That's right, the editors over at Wikipedia, they decided to delete entirely the page for Rosemont Seneca Partners, which is of course the investment firm founded by Hunter Biden. The same investment firm, it's worth noting, that became a shareholder of a Chinese investment fund during the very same time that Joe Biden was vice president. However, according to the editors over at Wikipedia, this is not newsworthy. That's because on the discussion page of that particular entry, which is where all these Wikipedia decisions get made, here is what the editors wrote, quote, "This organization," meaning Rosemont Seneca, "is only mentioned in connection with its famous founders, Hunter Biden and Christopher Hines." Christopher Hines, by the way, just for your reference, is John Kerry's stepson. Then the editor goes on to write that, quote, "Keeping the page around could turn it into a magnet for conspiracy theories about Hunter Biden." And then another editor chimed in by writing, quote, "It's a non-notable company with a tangential connection to some conspiracy-related thing that didn't happen." And just like that, the entry for Rosemont Seneca was deleted from the world's largest encyclopedia. However, the censorship efforts against the laptop story go much, much deeper than that. How do we know? Well, because a whistleblower who recently quite literally had to flee the United States, he vowed to publicly drop 450 gigabytes of deleted material from Hunter Biden's laptop within the next few weeks. Now, this particular whistleblower is named Jack Maxey, and if he happens to look familiar to you, that's likely because he was a co-host of Steve Bannon's War Room. And for the last several weeks, Jack has been in hiding over in Switzerland, where he has been working alongside IT experts in order to extract more data from Hunter Biden's laptop. And he says that within the coming weeks, he will be posting the contents online to a searchable database. And in terms of what this database will contain, well, in an interview with the Daily Mail, here's what Jack said, quote, "Me and my colleagues found 450 gigabytes of deleted material, including 80,000 images and videos and more than 120,000 archived emails." Now, the next question that you might logically be asking yourself is, why exactly did Jack have to go all the way to Switzerland to do his work? Couldn't he stay here in America and just dig through the laptop within the States? Well, as an answer to that question, Jack told the Daily Mail in his interview that he fears retaliation from the White House. Here's specifically what he said, quote, "I came here so that we could do a forensic examination of Hunter's laptop safely in a country that still respects human liberty and the ideals of liberal democratic principles. I do not believe this would have been possible inside the United States. We had numerous attempts on us from trying to do things like this there." Now, in terms of the specific attempts that were made to try and stop him from doing this work, well, Jack said that last year, after he first contacted the media regarding the laptop, black suburban SUVs started to appear outside of his house, and he said that his friends, to whom he gave copies of the laptop, began to receive strange phone calls. It's also worth noting that Jack said that he gave a copy of the laptop contents to the FBI, who appear to have done nothing with it except apparently turn around and target Jack himself. They began to target the whistleblower rather than investigate the contents of the laptop. Then, what happened next was that Jack gave a copy of the hard drive to one of his friends who happened to be a former intelligence officer. And this intelligence officer, he turned around and he told Jack this, quote, "If you don't release enough of this so that they know you can release all of it, I'm telling you, brother, you're a dead man." And so Jack, he took that advice to heart and he began to post batches of the emails as well as other files from the laptop onto different file sharing sites across the internet for people to have access to. However, within an hour of him posting those files, the links were all taken down. Here's specifically what Jack told the Daily Mail, quote, "There were 5 drop boxes, 2 in the United States, 1 in New Zealand, 2 in the UK. All the same drop boxes in which they tell us child pornography is shared around the globe without any consequence because they can't look at it. These are all Five Eyes countries, English-speaking countries in an intelligence sharing agreement. and they were all ripped down. So this means that our intelligence services, who still have not even acknowledged that they have Hunter Biden's laptop, were obviously diligently doing cache services across the internet to find out if any of that stuff was being released. That should terrify every single decent person in the West. Now, Jack said that one of the main reasons that he chose to go into hiding in Switzerland was because the only file sharing site that did not take down his files was a company called Swiss Transfer, which is a file sharing service based in the country of Switzerland. And because it's based in Switzerland, it happens to not be subject to the Cloud Act. And then until next time, I'm your host, Roman from the Epoch Times. Stay informed and stay free.